Hey guys, Frank here, and welcome to another episode of How Did I Shoot This One in our Digital Classroom series. And today, it's this amazing shot with Nadine. Don't you just love it? And I'm going to tell you exactly what was behind the idea of this setup. Now, during the workshops, we always experiment with different kinds of setups. But one of the things that's always important is how do you separate your backdrop and your front? In my opinion, it's very important to also get some lighting on your backdrop and, of course, a proper lighting on your model. But I'm not the kind of photographer that will always place its lights in front of my model for the very simple reason I also want contrast in my images. So that means that we often choose for light setups that are a little bit more on the side of our model. And that also means that if you place your light on the side of the model, your light fall-off dictates that there's no light directly hitting your backdrop. So in most of those cases, you will see a lighting setup with a dark backdrop, your model, and then you will see some lighting on the backdrop. Now, this is not wrong, I've done it for many, many years, but at one point you start to wonder like, wouldn't it be nice to also have some lighting on the backdrop on the other side of our model? So not just shooting chiaroscuro, light, dark, but also creating more control on your backdrop. Now, of course, the lantern from Giotto is a great solution for this because it also has open sides, so it will reflect the light also on the backdrop. But another light source that's, in my opinion, a little bit more suitable for high contrast images is, of course, the strip light. Now, in essence, the strip light is three light sources in one. You have the center part that's very bright, and you have the sides that are a little bit softer but also lower in light output. And this is a great way to set up your lighting for the backdrop. Now, in this setup, I'm using the strip light in an almost horizontal version. That means that my model is lit with one part of the softbox, the middle part is going a little bit like in between, and then the backdrop is lit with the other side of our strip light. In other words, I'm using the strip light in its optimal conversion. Now, with a shot like this, we of course need more. Because if you use your strip light in the horizontal version, it doesn't really spread out all over your model. So, for this setup, we're also using an accent lighting. Now, accent lightings are awesome. You can use your accent lighting, for example, for just a simple color twist, or accents, or maybe some lens flare. The accent light, when I started photography, was always just to give a little bit of a fill-in light. But over the years, I've started to use accent lights for a lot more. And at this point in time, it's actually one of the most important parts in my photography style. It just opens up the image a lot. Add some color. Yeah, that's amazing. So in this case, what kind of color do we choose? Well, if I look at the set, I always determine what kind of mood do I want in my image. Do I want something spectacular and broad and going out? I will often choose red. If I want something a little bit more subdued, I will choose blue. Now, both are emotional colors. Blue will give you more relaxation, a little bit distance, maybe fear or cold. And red is on both sides of the spectrum, love, hate, warmth, and of course that closeness feel. But red is also a very bright color, it just hits you right in the face. But in this case, we didn't want to use red, so blue was the choice. I'm using a Giotto on the back with our Rogue magnetic system. And the nice thing about the magnetic system is that you can use it like here with just a gel, but you can also use it to gel whole softboxes. Now, this is something I couldn't do in the past because the modeling light was just around the flash tube, and it meant that if you want a soft light on your softbox with a gel, you need to place the gel in front of the softbox. Now, with a new hybrid system, we can actually place the gel behind the softbox, including, of course, the system from Rogue with our magnetic attachments. So in this case, I'm not using any softbox, I'm just using the accent light. And the reason is actually pretty simple. The strip light aims the light towards my model and towards the backdrop. So I have a nice light fall-off on my model and I have some light hitting the backdrop. If you want more light on your backdrop, very simple, just angle your strip light. If you want less light, you probably already figured it out. You just turn the strip light the other way around. If you want more broad light, you take away the strip. It's all pretty simple. But what about that extra accent light? When you look at the image, you can see that the whole image has a little bit of a blue tint. And that's exactly the accent light. Now, the accent light doesn't have any light shaper on it. It's just the bare bulb with, of course, that blue gel. Now, by aiming it at the camera and just moving it slightly forward, it doesn't hit the model on full power. It just gives you a nice blue hue in your image, so you don't need any Instagram. An added benefit of this setup is if you go into Lightroom or your favorite RAW converter, by changing the color temperature, you can literally change the amount of blue and yellow in the image. It gives you beautiful results. So if you shoot it with blue and you don't really like it, you go like, oh, I want more blue in there, you just change your color balance. If you shoot it with blue, and, oh, I would like a little bit less, well, you change your color balance the other way around. It's a really cool trick. Now, of course, we also have to talk about shapes in an image. When I look for a model that poses, I don't want a model that just poses, that just stands there. Most of the times it's great to find S-curves in the body or triangles. But sometimes you also are forced to put your model in a certain position. Like for example, in this image, Nadine is wearing really cool shoes. So I want to make sure that you see those shoes. And that's before we take the shot, we say 1, 2, 3, lift up your knee, and at that point you can see the shoes. Now, this is a trick that I highly recommend you guys trying out. If your model isn't really posing well or feeling a little bit held back because, wow, it's a photo shoot, let her move, lift up her knees, make some cool poses, and as soon as that goes well, you will find out that your model loosens up and the photo shoot will go a lot better. Now, of course, with a model like Nadine, we don't need that kind of tricks, but it's still important to not let her pose like that and then go, okay, pose like this is great, one moment, focus and shoot. That will look a little bit awkward. The best thing, even with a professional model like Nadine, is just count down. 1, 2, 3, and she will lift up her knee and you will shoot, because at that point you see the whole body moving. And it's often just a small difference, but it's the difference that really makes an image stand out. Now, of course, we also want something on the foreground. Now, we were thinking about maybe just doing some Photoshop in the foreground, but hey, you know how I am, right? Why fake it when you can create it? And from another photo shoot, we still had some balloons left, and we thought it would be really cool to lay some balloons in the front. Now, in all honesty, when you look at the video, you will see that, well, the final image has a little bit more balloons, about 4 extra balloons, and that's Photoshop. Now, in all honesty, I'm not a big fan of artificial intelligence in the form of just type something in and you get an image. Where I do love artificial intelligence in Photoshop is that if you have a setup, and like in this case with all the balloons, but you miss a few balloons, that's a great way in Photoshop to just add the balloons instead of using the clone tool. It just makes it faster, and the balloons, in all honesty, look a lot better with artificial intelligence than if you just clone one balloon to another position. So this is the part where I don't have any problems using artificial intelligence. Let's take a look at the behind the scenes video of this photo. As you can see, a pretty simple lighting setup. The blue light really adds something to this photo. Now, if you have any questions about lighting setups or maybe retouching, leave them in the comments below, and maybe in the next episode of Digital Classroom, you will see your question answered by me. Hey guys, please subscribe to our channel, leave comments below, and of course smash the like button. But most of all, tell other people about our channel so we can grow and get you more content. See you again next time. Bye guys.